this was actually going to go in the end of the video, but I decided to put it at the end. I mean, beginning. Sorry, you'll see why I'm a bit unfocused in the head. And when you watch the rest of the video. Anyway, so you'll see how I got them to this point, and and it's preheated. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in the oven. But anyway, watch the rest of this video to see a whole bunch of stuff, and also me screwing up several times. And yeah, there will be more in part 2, so I'll see you then. After you watch this one, I just hit the tripod. Anywho, see you then. Also, I think I forgot to mention, I may have done it, but I may have forgotten that I actually did it, that there is something special other than meat coming up in part 2. So stay tuned! Hey guys! So first, guess what I did? I cleaned the stove. A bunch of other stuff around here. Wasn't easy. Yes, that is for later. That is for while we're doing this. Anywho, a lot of cleaning actually. Let me just grab what we're making today out of the fridge. It's right there. Yes, that video is still coming, but given how extreme, because usually I get choice, but this was all they had today. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, these were very expensive because this was all they had. So I feel that it would be responsible to make these tonight. This does mean that I'm going to have to be more careful than usual due to the price. Move that out of the way so I can have to sweep that up in a moment. But to get to the thing I need, that's it. Okay. Shoot. I don't know if I can do this one one-handed. Here. Use that. Dang it. I'm sure this won't be hard to fix. Let me just try. You see what I mean about one hand? There. I could just... There. Take that, stupid door. See, because I kicked the door, so... I don't know. So, that happened again. It doesn't happen again. Hang on a second. Don't ever do that. Bad idea I had. Hang on one second. Camera down for a sec while I get this thing situated here. Here we go. There we go. Ugh. There. That. Yeah. Frickin' tripod. There. Ugh. Dang it. Ugh. There we go. There we go. That's better right there. That's good. Okay. Where were we? I need to get my boobs in frame. You don't need to see that none. There we go. This ain't a... Well, I can't say that on YouTube, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, that's foil. on this pan. Putting foil on the pan is going to make it easier to clean. I'll probably subtitle this video because I have no clue if anyone can even understand what I'm saying. Redo. There. That time I got the foil on right. Yeah. Not good. Right there. There we go. That's done. Now we need something to put these on while we get them ready. I don't have the cutting board at the moment. It's at my parents' house, I think. I had to leave it. I forget why I left it there. Here. Parchment paper. That'll do. Yeah. Alright. Right on that. Look at that. Just set that down. Right. Alright. See? Okay. Hang on. Just move the camera real quick. Move that right quick because I gotta get my, get these out. Where are they? Dang it, I had them. They're not even in that one. I guess they're in the, right here. Find them. Okay. How do you get these? Make your own joke about that. You know exactly what I mean. Anyway. Alright, let's get these open. Alright. Okay. So right away, when you get these out of the package, what you're going to notice is that a lot of, there you go. There's a lot of this moisture on them, but yeah, I don't like using that for a binder. The broom fell over. That's what that was. Anyway, don't like using that for a binder because it's just, you do not know what is in that, because that's like, you think that's just juice from the meat, right? Nope. Because what that also is what is called, hold on a second, that is called purge from the packaging, which you do not want in your food. Namely, because if you do that, you ain't going to have a very good meal, especially if you don't know what all goes into it. So what I like to do is, fortunately with these ones, it's easy. I also like the kind of the tone of the color of the fat here, and the fact that these seem to be a little leaner. It looks like these are seemingly better quality. It's honestly too bad that I can't get these prime more often, and that I have to get toast most of the time. But because this is a higher grade, I'm expecting that these should come out better. I actually did get a new toy to play with for cooking food. By toy, I mean tool. Some people call them toys. That's what my dad calls them sometimes. Daddy calls them that sometimes, but I like to call them things like that, too. Anywho, let's get this all done. And as you can see, it takes a while to get this cleaned off, but you see that? That's gross. You don't want that on your food. Yeah, right there. Alright? I think another good point about these is I'm not seeing that much. Really, it looks like no trimming. No trimming except for maybe See, maybe a little bit that I might want to trim off, just like skim off. Hold on, let me get a knife here for cutting the, here, show you. This is what you want to do, because there is some fat on here that we do not need. So let's just try to remove that. You can see there's also a bit of a silver skin, and so what I'm doing is I'm not really cutting it too deep. I'm just kind of grazing the top. This is because I don't want to lose any meat, just the silver skin on top. So the trick is to kind of pinch it like this, and then just kind of graze until it starts to peel back like this. At which point, you just kind of graze along the top. And removing the silver skin is kind of ideal because it's all tough and stringy, and I don't want that. I want these to be meat and mostly meat. A little fat is good given that we are doing these in the oven because it is very hot outside and I don't feel like standing over a grill the whole time. Not to mention, it's just, since I don't have my own and I'd have to use the one supplied by where I live, given that I'm in an apartment, I just don't want to because I don't know what all's been on them or who's used them. And that just makes me uncomfortable. It's unhygienic. Usually I'm the last person to care about that, but whatever. Anyway, so what you can see I'm doing is just peeling back and just kind of gently. I want to show this process because a lot of people, they assume that when they hear what to do, it'll be easy. But no, it's not. And I want to show you just how much work really goes into doing this seemingly simple process here. So as you can see, I'm just skimming off this silver skin. I think I nicked the meat a little bit there, but it's going to be fine. But anyhow, you can see that it is coming off plenty good there. Like you're starting to see like the underneath is definitely better than what's on top here. Like this is just silver skin. Now this fat can stay, but I don't want this tough silver skin. It's the silver skin that you don't want. And one more thing we're going to show you on the back. But as you can see, this shiny silver skin here, look, see? It's kind of like a, well, I like to refer to it not just a silver skin, but like as what is effectively a surface membrane, which is like the membrane on the back, but you can kind of see that underneath is the far more tender stuff that you want. So cutting this off, cutting all this off will allow us, if you're making this while you're cooking, while I'm doing it, if you're doing it later, that's fine too, but whatever the case, I don't want to see any silver skin, I just want to see this pure meat underneath, okay? There's also this skirt meat. It's just gonna burn. I don't like that. And I want to trim it as best as possible. This heel on top, it's just a heel, but it's not that deep on these. As you can see, it actually doesn't run too deep, it looks like. Looks like it's mostly just over here. Let's maybe trim off this, you can see this tension here. It's easily scoreable. This is tense meat here. I don't want that. I'm also going to kind of just trim off a little of this excess fat as well, because I don't want these to be overly greasy when they're done. Kind of turn this on its side so you can better see what I mean. Like up here, this is all just really tough, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to kind of score around the edge. I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to kind of remove that. And there. That's got it pretty good. A little bit here. A little bit more silver skin. So let's just try to skim that off as best as possible. You can nick these a little bit. They're going to be fine. Just don't try not to do it too much, but do try to get this off. My apologies. We got a public safety alert for a county several miles away from here. The fuck? Yeah, let's interrupt on this thing, and yeah. I would normally be using, I'm using something I don't like to be using. Let's just leave that at that, but I do apologize for that. I'm probably going to leave that interruption in, because it revolves around honesty for me. Being honest. Anywho, I think we've trimmed these up good enough on the surface, but I'm probably just going to remove this giant piece of fat right here. Again, I want mostly meat with minimum fat, because the whole thing is these are supposed to be lean, and then maybe remove just a tiny bit more fat down here. Once again, I'm just trying to minimize the amount of grease by removing a bunch of fat. And I don't want too much. I just want enough. Maybe a little bit more here. I am trying to lose weight, so I'm trying to remove as much fat as I can. Right about there. That ought to do it. I'm thinking that looks good. Can I get these hanger pieces off, I guess? It looks fine. It doesn't look like it needs any more trimming than that, to be honest. I think that'll be good. Now we can focus on the membrane. On the underside. And I know most people will say remove it. But I saw a video on YouTube from back in 2008. They didn't remove it. What they did was they took a knife and they just stabbed it like Norman Bates, like this. And yes, that is why I'm playing that music here. Anyway, you can see that kind of, these holes to kind of perforate it a little bit. But I suppose in my case I would be, oh dear God, I'm not even going to go there. I don't want to make myself sound older than I am. Here's a hint. It's another word. It's whatever. Anyway, we have kind of perforated the underside of it like this. This is actually something I saw someone do. Again, I'm trying to do these as though it were 2008. So I'm trying to emulate a recipe I saw. Theirs were a little leaner on top, hence the trimming. Trying to get the best semblance I can. That should do it. And another thing they did, which I never thought of doing, was to use a steak sauce. I don't know if that would taste very good. So instead, I'm just going to use something else that I've seen people use even back then. Olive oil. This is not expensive olive oil, it's just the cheap stuff. But it should. Well, you know what? I may not have a steak sauce I can use, but I do have a sauce I can use. And I imagine this would work about as good. I'll link the video in the description. Plus, it's got a real funny song in it. I think he wrote it. Anyways, so you're just gonna kind of put this on there like that. That's what he did. Anywho, let's get that all rubbed up on there. like, you know, looks pretty good, actually. I'm actually thinking this might be a good idea. Yeah. This might be real good in general. I think that might have been just enough to cover it. As you can see, there's a nice sheen on it now, which is about what you want, except this is more flavorful than using olive oil, to be honest. It seems like that anyway. But, I like this possibility. Yeah. That seems like a good idea. I'm gonna draw off my hands so I can put the rub on there. I tried to use products that only would have been available then, and I believe this is one of them. This is a sweet and smoky rub. I like this stuff. It adds a good flavor. It helps get a little bit of smoke flavor. Yeah. Anyhow. The other reason I have to kind of do my own version is they don't make the sauce he used anymore, which is sad. I would have liked to use it. Never got a chance. Should have bought it when I had the chance, but I was younger at the time. I was still a kid. My parents wouldn't buy it. Said I didn't need it. Well, who's laughing now? Or rather, sad now, because I don't get to try it none. Anywho, let's just get... I like saying anywho. It's fun. And I'm going to say it if I want to say it. So, now, if I put these back, I might put just a hint more on top, just to help it out a bit. I want to see that color on there. A little more on top. Oh yeah, that looks good. What I'm hoping is that these will be just as juicy as though I were doing them on a grill. And I'm seeing that this is a nice coloration. Honestly, this seems like a better idea than using olive oil. I know lots of people say use olive oil, but I'm telling you, this is going to get a better result. Yeah. Now, this recipe that I'm using or trying to adapt for this video is actually one that my friend gave me. It's from her family out in Middle Fork. That's in Tennessee, I think. I might be thinking of a different one, but I'm pretty sure it's Middle Fork. Actually, this looks pretty nice as far as the general look of it goes, and I'm thinking this is going to be pretty good. I just want to make sure that we've got some of the stuff on all sides at least, so that we can maintain flavor. I'm going to call it done about now. And that looks good, actually. So that looks pretty good. I had high hopes for this. At first I wasn't sure, but I think this method could work. Now, he did mention a barbecue restaurant, which I have not been to, but my friend and her family, again, out in Middle Fork, they have been there. It's down in, I think the restaurant, the barbecue restaurant to which they're referring, called the Holy Hog. It's, I believe, down in Tampa, Florida. I ain't never been out there, nor do I plan to go. But, anyway, now let's just, whatever. Here, let's do this oven preheating. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Hold on. Right here. Alright, I'm trying to get this down to the right temperature. Oops, that was the oven light. Wrong button. It's like that one of the cartoons I used to watch when I was a youngin'. Right there. Okay. Right there. Yeah. Alright, that's preheating. Now, there is something I want to do with these that I saw on a different channel. Ah, shit! kick the tripod. Anyways, where, hold on, I'm gonna have a drink real quick. Wow. She wasn't kidding. That stuff is just, wow. Whew. But not expecting it. It's fortunately not as bad as the last one, but by bad I mean strong. Where is it? I can't see what I'm doing. Hang on, I gotta turn on another light. There we go. Now, oh, there it is. Dang it. Everything just fell out of there. I'll deal with that in a minute. Anyway, I'm not even going to acknowledge that. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm putting this down. Why am I putting this down? Well, because I want to put these on it. Now I'm putting these on it because what I'm trying, let me get this out of the way. Trying to take advantage of what's called a Mylar reaction by having them steam up. Like I'm hoping the smoke or steam or whatever is going to come up around them in the oven. And what I'm hoping will result from that, let me show you here. What I'm hoping will result from that is that we're going to have, like, as you can see, the rack I put in here, insert your own joke about that term here, what's going to happen is the air is going to circulate. Well, apologies, I'm having trouble thinking. Might have been a bit more than I thought. Anyway, there. You can also see something that's happening here, so you're getting a nice sweat on top. I'm getting more scatterbrained the more I go on. Anyway, you see here that these are all nice and covered, and they are getting a nice sweat going. You want to see that? That means that the sauce and rub has permeated. We did both sides to maintain flavor. I forgot to mention that earlier. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the Mylar effect. What should happen is the air should go like under like this, and then up like that, and basically it's going to circulate around them. And what that should do is it should react with the sugar and the rub and this, which should get a similar browning effect to if they were on the smoker, and maybe should hopefully get a nice, I'm going to put this sauce in the fridge so it doesn't go bad, but it should get a nice crust going. Anyway, when this is preheated, I'm going to put these in for about an hour and a half, and this has been 28 minutes at this point, so I will see you in part 2, I guess. This is going to have to be 2 parts, just so it isn't like an hour long. Alright, bye.